The rise and the fall of General Sibiya. In this episode, I want us to talk about General Sibiya, his rise and his fall. Quite a number of things have been said about General Sibiya, and he has since been suspended ever since General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi took a stand. When he took a stand, subsequent to that, General Sibiya then gets suspended. On this specific video, I want us to look at that video. Number 2, there was already complaints. There was a letter that was written to the minister to say, please check the appointment of General Sibiya. There's something wrong about it. The evidence emerges. I want us to read from the page here, Department of Security Cluster and Justice. Let's start with General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi. In a video, he details something very important about Sibiya. That he was a member of Hawks, a leader in Gauteng. As he was leading there, one, he appeals a case, but the timing of the appeal, it was also calculated. 2, the fact that the police doesn't oppose that. 3, when before Sibiya is appointed, Abu Matlala, they already know that Sibiya will be appointed. These 3 things becomes very important as you go forward. It becomes very important. As important as it is, we will read all of them. Let's start with the video. General Sibiya here.
The background of General Sibiya, his arrival in the police and his responsibility as a person appointed as a Deputy National Commissioner in the police. What I know of is that General Sibiya was appointed as a Lieutenant General, promoted to Lieutenant General in the police in July 2022. And I said earlier, the post of a Deputy National Commissioner Crime Detection, it's a heartbeat of the South African Police Service. That is where, according to the structure of the police, the organogram, that is where crime intelligence accounts, that is where investigations account, and that is where forensic accounts. So General Sibiya was afforded that opportunity in July 2022 to be appointed as a Deputy National Commissioner occupying this position. But before that, if commissioners allow me to backtrack, prior to his arrival in the South African Police Service, General Sibiya was appointed in the South African Police Service in 2022 after he had won a court case. He was originally an employee of the service and was working within DPCI before that, and he was dismissed from the service and he appealed his dismissal. A dismissal, I'm told, that the employer, which is South African Police that dismissed him, did not oppose in court. Subsequent to that, the court ruled in his favor that he must be reinstated into the service. But when that happened, at the time, General Sibiya was employed at the City of Johannesburg Metro Municipality. Well, I'm not going to dwell much on what was his function at Johannesburg Metro, but it's just interesting I'm going to be making comparison of what I became aware of on the record, which is a public knowledge of things that involves him at the City of Johannesburg, And I contrast that to what is happening in the South African police.
So from here, you get a sense that it looks like a group of people sat, or a group of people at a meeting and said, who will represent us there? So we can do what we want when we want. That's the picture. A conclusion that one can draw, an inference that one can draw. Because if Matlala knows the appointment before everybody knows, what do you want us to say? How do you want us to view that appointment? Very interesting. Now, I want us to look at this because Mkhwanazi bring that to say, from the time when he was appointed at Joburg, there were some problems. He was always on the media. There was always something wrong with Sibiya. Sibiya is not new to, is not a stranger to scandals. That other time I once said that. Mkhwanazi brings that point. At the time, there's a person that writes a letter to the minister and say, no, check this appointment. This appointment, there's everything wrong about it. Listen to this. The letter comes from a person who works for the city of Joburg to Minister of Police, and they say, from Executive Head, Office of the Manager, City of Johannesburg. Then they say, agent request for the Minister of Police to intervene in the failure to disclose evidence of fraud and corruption which involved 3.5 million of unlawful benefit and 580 million irregular expenditure to the City of Joburg Municipal Council and South African Police Service, SAPS. Dear Minister of Police, 1, my name is Mesuli Mlando. I am the complainant in this matter. I am employed at the as an executive director in the City of Joburg office of the City of Johannesburg. 2, I request an intervention of the minister to the concealment from the council and the hoax of evidence of fraud and corruption which involves the employment of Mr. Sibiya, the head of the Department of Group Forensic and Investigation Service, HOD, blah, blah, receiving 3.5 million of unlawful gratification and causing 580 million of irregular expenditure. In other words, he received a bribe of 3.5 million. 3. It is urgent because I am advised that Mr. Sibiya may soon be taking up a senior position at the South African Police Service, SAPS, as of the 1st of July 2022. Thus, escape being held accountable. I can also confirm that the then acting city manager, Mr. F. Brink, first reported this matter to the Gauteng MEC of Local Governance, and the MEC did not intervene. 4. In the meantime, evidence of fraud and corruption came to light. I reported the same to the Speaker as recorded hereunder. 4.1. On the 13th of June 2022, submitted the attached report Annexure A to the Speaker, which contained the documentary evidence of fraud and corruption. Ooh. Now, despite that, General Sibiya is appointed. The question is, hey, a lot of people need to come and explain. That's what Mkhwanazi was doing, opening this for people to question some of the things, some of the decisions that needs to be questioned here. You and I now have to say, let's look at the minister and everybody that ignored the complaints against General Sibiya. Everyone. Whether you are in or out, it does not matter. You must be brought back and you must be asked, what did you do? If you didn't do anything, then you must explain why. But again, this speaks to the life of shortcuts. General Sibiya managed to get to the top, but couldn't protect himself. The rise and the fall of General Sibiya. We'll talk about it. Let's read this. Justice, Crime Prevention and Security, they say, Witness statement of Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Sibusiso Mkhwanazi. Extract on the 11th of February 2025. Mr. Rafatu, the Lokwatwat forensic investigator and crime expert, sent to Mr. Matlala Vusmus Ket Matlala, businessman, the published the advertisement of the post of the DPCI, to which Mr. Matlala responded saying they gave it to General Sibiya already. At the time of this communication, the interview were not yet conducted. Yay! At the time of this, the interview were not yet conducted. You see what I'm trying to say? That's why I said, when you read this and you study this thing, you realize that Apo General Sibiya, they just went through the processes for the sake of going through the processes, but it was never necessarily to show their fitness and all the stuff, because they already knew they got the position. Hey guys, hey man, I remember this other time I was listening to a wrestling. I'm not a fan of wrestling, but there's something very important that was once said by John Cena. He's talking to this guy and he's saying, in life, if you take shortcuts, you must know that shortcuts have a tendency of ruining you in the future. You will regret taking those shortcuts, because life will bring you back to start where you were supposed to, where you should have started from the beginning. But because whether you took shortcuts, look at things now. One of the things that you need to understand about General Sibiya, he was very interested in the position of being the head of Hawks. He even said it himself. The question that you need to ask is why? Why is Sibiya so interested in such a position? What is there with the head of Hawks? And I can tell you now, it looks like that position was preserved for him. When you're looking at things now based on the revelations that are coming out, it looks like, and I repeat, it looks like the position of being the head of Hawks would have gone to General Sibiya. The question is, why that position? Right now, tell me why the minister is not, why the president doesn't appoint a Melok, why the president did not appoint a head of Hawks even now. Tell me why. Do you want to tell me that the president doesn't know that that position, the person who was acting there, who was the former head of Hawks, he doesn't know that the contract expired and he's out of position? He knows. Why is he not appointing someone? To me, it looks like that position was preserved for someone, allegedly. Let me leave it here. We'll talk on the next episode.